Hi, Sarah Pacaro with Rewrite Your Life, Rapid Transformational Therapist, helping you figure out, understand yourself even better and getting to a deep level of feeling and healing after having been in relationships with narcissists or toxic and unhealthy people. You will notice there's a lot going on in a relationship with a toxic and unhealthy person. So today we're going to talk about 5 withholding tactics that narcissists use to torment you because they love tormenting you. So you'll notice the first thing that narcissists need to belittle their victims. Belittling their victims puts them up here and you down here. It gives them that feeling of superiority and power. So they will make a sport of using and abusing, and you are the one that's been used and abused, and it's a sport to them, it's a game to them. They enjoy this toying with people. They love watching you scream and squirm, and they naturally find this very, very easy to do because they simply don't care. They don't give a F. And they laugh about it, but they love toying with them. You'll notice one of the most common ways that narcissistic individuals toy with their victims is through a manipulation tactic called withholding, and they withhold many, many things in the relationship. After they idealize you in the honeymoon phase with the love bombing, they begin to deliberately withhold elements of the relationship. I get asked all the time, do they do this on purpose? Withholding is something that is done on purpose. Yes, they love this. It's like a game of cat and mouse, this toying with you. And they do this by withholding certain elements of the relationship which directly contribute to intimacy and a sense of personal security. I used to ask my ex all the time, like, please, like, why you just make love to me, like hold me, kiss me. No, whenever we did have sex, it was just quick, his favorite position, and then we moved on. So I would share with him, and that's what you do. You share with them what you want and need from them, and then they know exactly what to withhold from you. So it becomes this game from them, and they withhold anything that directly contributes to that intimacy and that sense of personal security. Because if you don't feel safe, then of course you're going to constantly try to feel safe. Feeling safe is a basic human need. So you'll notice this withholding tactics are to serve and instill insecurity in their victims. They go straight for any part of your life that you are insecure about. And it uses it's a way to provoke their victims into reacting. You'll notice you feel like they're constantly poking at you and triggering you, and they love this because it tells them, oh, okay, poke their insecurity, I can use that against them later. Can and will. And they also grant narcissists this grandiose sense of power and control. They know, boop, do that, get that, and we hand it over, but you don't know because you think you're in this relationship and you're trying to change and work on it and make it better. Yet you're giving them all the ways that they can mess with you the most. Here are the 5 most common ways that narcissists will practice their withholding from partners in intimate relationships. So there's lots of different narcissists out there. This one is specifically on ones that are relationships that are intimate, not a family member or coworker. You'll notice the biggest thing is that they withhold affection. In the beginning, the love bombing phase, there's so much affection. You get it 24/7, whether it's through calls or texts or, through social media, or they're in person, they're buying you gifts, all these things. Unlike normal healthy partners, though, who have an occasional need for space, they might not want affection naturally, like when there's conflict going on or some kind of stress or distress. Narcissists will withhold affection randomly and deliberately. Sometimes it seems like without reason, apart from the conflict and chaos that they themselves manufacture out of thin air. All of a sudden, things are good, and then boom, what happened? Okay, thought we were good. In fact, you haven't encountered a narcissist that began withholding affection right after being excessively attentive and warm to you. They were, all of a sudden, it's out of nowhere, you were just fine. What just happened? And all of a sudden they're withholding this affection. This feeling of hot and cold behaviors. This is known as intermittent reinforcement. So this intermittent reinforcement is actually used to train you. It's used to train you into gradually accepting unacceptable cruelty. How messed up is that? but that's what it is. They're training you through this intermittent reinforcement to accept this unacceptable cruelty that they inevitably will dish out during those periods of devaluation. And you'll notice that during times of withholding affection, some narcissists even actually will physically distance themselves from you to dramatically get you to react. My ex was the master of this. He would leave and tell me he was going away for work. Maybe it was. I don't know. And it was work for a couple of days. And then wouldn't come home. He would tell me, yeah, I'm going to be home Sunday night or Monday, depending on when the flight is. Okay. Wouldn't come home until like the following Friday. So I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to text and call and where are you? What's going on? You said you were going to be here. All these things. They will physically distance themselves from you to get you to just blow up and go crazy and react. And they love this. It's part of the game for them. They also do it with sex. My ex, some people have great sex with their narcissist. Good for you. That was not the case for me. When it comes to sex, they will withhold affection. It becomes this power play for them. They will withhold healthy interest or praise or genuine compliments when warranted. You will notice that perhaps one of the most glaring red flags of all, sorry, someone's hearting like crazy and it's making me blush. Perhaps one of the most glaring red flags of all, or when you are dealing with a toxic predator, their inability to share your joy or success. I know with my first husband, when I was in college, I was in the Big Brother Big Sister program and was awarded Big Sister of the Year. I got to go on stage, and it was just such a cool experience. My little sister lost her mom when she was in grade school, and 6 months after she lost her mom, her dad committed suicide. And I had no choice but to step it up, and I did. I wasn't doing it for recognition. It was just because I loved her. And anyways, ended up receiving this award where I got honored in front of like the entire community, and it was so cool. But my ex-husband sat there just glaring. I didn't know it, but my family was there with him too, and it was like, let's go, right after. Even when I graduated college, she was like, come on, let's go. So you'll notice that any time that you have an experience of joy or success, they do not like that. They cannot share it with you due to their pathological envy or need to maintain control and this illusion of superiority. Healthy relationships have some degree of capitalization, you'll notice, but the expression of excitement for a partner's accomplishments, studies show, contribute to the relational well-being of both parties, of both partners, as well as the quality of the relationship. But you will notice that this is part of their withholding healthy interest, withholding praise, withholding genuine accomplishments when warranted, and it's really messed up. It does so much psychological damage. Narcissists don't even like giving healthy praise to others. Even when it's warranted, they can't, unless it caters to their agenda, unless it makes them seem like, oh, wow, you really care. But it always has to do something with their agenda. You may notice that they may engage excessively praising you at the onset when they're love bombing you. Or I've even had people share, the ex would praise me constantly in front of their family, but then when we were with my family, they would treat me like shit. Okay, well, that's part of it. It's part of it meeting their agenda, and this praise only happens when they're meeting your agenda. And this gets you invested in them. This gets you hooked. So you'll notice that once you feel like you're hooked, that's when they begin withholding interest in your life entirely. They feel like, got 'em, where are they gonna go? And they fail to acknowledge what makes you happy. And you share this with them. Like, what would make me happy is if we could do this, or, if you would do this, this would make me happy. And they refuse to recognize these events that are worthy of celebration. Like, say that you get a promotion at work, or you get this, big bonus, whatever it is. Like, it's even simply little things. They withdraw from complimenting you altogether. They go, oh, you think that's a big deal? Oh, really? That's a big deal? Well, blah, 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 blah. And then they start talking about all the amazing things that they did, completely diminishing your accomplishments and your successes. So they withdraw these compliments. What that does is leaving you feeling like you're not good enough. You're never going to be good enough. Yet here you've just worked your ass off and you have succeeded. And they don't compliment you, they withdraw it because they know it's going to leave you right where they need you. So meanwhile, you'll notice they statistically give praise to someone else. Well, what about what I just did? What that person did that you're now like telling them they're so great about. I was like, hello? No. And they do this to further demean you. They withhold the accomplishments, the praises, in an act of triangulation. It's meant to get you to that really unsettled place, the unsettled feeling, so that you feel undeserving and you feel less than, especially when you see them giving compliments to someone else. And you're like, I just shared with you this amazing accomplishment that I had. You didn't even see that or recognize that or say anything. Really? And you're over there telling this person how great they are? Whatever. And it leaves you feeling less than, it leaves you feeling undeserving. In the context of an abusive relationship, withholding healthy praise and interest is used to strategically torment the victim and make the victim feel needy, obsessed, make you seem and feel desperate. It's like an attempt to understand what has changed. You're sitting there, deflated, defeated, looking, feeling needy, obsessed, desperate. They do this and they accuse you of fishing for compliments. Look at you, you're always you're looking for compliments all the time. You're looking for attention. When you question their strange behavior, when you say, wait a minute, I just did this and you didn't say anything, and this person did that, which wasn't even half as good as what I just did, and you're all over them, like praising them, telling them how amazing they are, and they do this so that they can say, God, look at you, you're always fishing for compliments. And you're questioning their strange behavior when in fact these are the exact words that they use to depict you as crazy, irrational, or for having this normal, natural human desire to connect and be admired and appreciated. So know that if you are experiencing these withholding behaviors from an abuser, the problem is not you, the problem is them. You'll notice the next thing that they do is withholding validation and discussion. You can never talk to them, and you may think, God, I just want to sit down, I want to figure this out, I just want to talk about this. That's what normal people do. They figure things out, they talk about them. This is a method and technique called stonewalling, refusing to engage in healthy communication, frequently shutting down discussions is stonewalling. This is one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This is one of the biggest predictors of divorce. If you are married to a narcissist, you will notice stonewalling is very common. It's one of the narcissist's most beloved withholding tactics. Much like the way that they withhold affection, narcissists subject you to stonewalling and this silent treatment, even after periods where everything seemed to be going well. Like the last month or 2, things were fine. I mean, they weren't like amazing, but they were good. And then boom, stonewalling, silent treatment. They use stonewalling as a way to escape accountability for their actions. So for example, every time you raise a legitimate concern to the narcissist about their behavior, they shut down the conversation and they exit quickly. And then they also manage to escape any kind of consequences from that in the process. You'll notice experiencing behaviors like stonewalling and the silent treatment obviously take a heavy toll on the victim, on the person that's experienced that, and they activate actually the same part of your brain that registers physical pain, and you'll notice physical responses in your body as well. This means that withholding the emotional validation and the being ostracized by this person feels like getting punched in the gut. I remember that feeling so well. It just felt like I was going to throw up. And it leaves you to lying in your bed, not being able to get up, not being able to want to. You lose your motivation, your drive to succeed or to try to work towards achieving anything because you feel like, what's the point? So the fourth one, and I just made a post about this, it was really interesting to see everyone's response, is what's worse, lies or half-truths? You'll notice that's the next way that they withhold. They withhold the truth, especially by omission, to string you along. Oh, I simply left it out. I wasn't lying. I just didn't tell you. No, that's a lie. Lying by omission. Narcissists are pathological liars. They lie about lying. And the deception is the trait by which they deal their illusions to their vulnerable victims. It keeps them one step ahead of them. So they know, if I lie about this, okay, it kind of gives them like that space, that thinking space. Okay, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to just leave this out, and then they don't ever have to step up or take responsibility. It gives them one step ahead of you, because you may notice you always feel that you're one step behind, and you want to get one step ahead of them, but you can't. It's because of this lying by omission. Lying by omission is very, very common in relationships with narcissists, with toxic and unhealthy people. Unlike the occasional white lie, like empathetic people might tell to spare others or themselves from, embarrassment or shame, narcissists omit. They tell you the truth about some pretty big facts, these half-truths. Maybe they tell you, like, yeah, I'm married, my wife's okay with it, or, oh, we're going through divorce, or whatever it is. They will withhold the truth, because withholding the truth puts their victims at risk. And the narcissist will frequently, without care or concern, because they lack empathy, they possess an excessive amount of entitlement. To them, the most important thing is that their needs are met. They could care less about yours. The only thing they care about is theirs. And your shattered sense of trust and safety is simply just collateral damage. I always had that feeling like I was just lying on the side of the road, had been run over by a Mack truck, backed up, and then ran over, and he didn't even feel the bump. That's constantly what it felt like for me. So if you are dealing with a narcissist, you will notice this. You will notice this withholding of resources. Withholding of resources is the fifth way that they withhold. Most commonly, financial resources. They want you to quit your job, so that they can take care of you. Look, babe, you're so stressed at work. Just don't worry about it. I've got us. I make more than enough. I'll support you. I'll take care of you. You can go do whatever you want to do. They withhold financial resources. Doing this causes you to get isolated from friends or family, because you don't have funds to go out and connect. And maybe it's just go out for a girls' night, but this builds and plays upon the other things that you are limited in doing. It keeps you from being able to connect and really support with people when you need them the most. And when you need others the most is when you're trying to get out of this relationship. It's an attempt to orchestrate the smear campaign. There are various ways that narcissists withhold resources from you. Those can be monetary, social, they're emotional, generally all of the above. Narcissists know that in order to get a sense of dependency in their victims, they must isolate the victim from the outside feedback, capital, financial capital and gain, anything that would move them towards exiting the relationship and diminishing the supply and moving forward with their own life. So to move forward with this, you will notice that you need to stay connected. If you're trying to get out, you need to have your plan. That plan needs to include financial resources, because that's one of the major things that they withhold from you. Isolating you from your support network, from your friends, from your family, from people who understand, allows them to become the dominant voice in your life. And you'll notice that you listen to this voice that is theirs, that becomes yours, and all the ways that you start to belittle, demean, and criticize yourself. And they do this as a way to alter your self-perception, your reality. They gaslight, they belittle, but slowly but surely dismantle your sense of self. And the smear campaigns that will happen after you leave them, those are fun. They will slander you. They will taint your reputation. I've had clients tell me, Sarah, you have no idea. He called my work. He called my boss, was sending emails, got me fired, all these things. Whatever they can share in your social circle that makes you look bad, makes them look better and that you're the crazy person. And they do this, they feed others misinformation about you so you look like the abuser while they play this role of the victim. And they terrorize you behind closed doors, taking complete control over your finances. If they've been withholding those, gives them means to keep you trapped in the relationship and unable to leave. That is why it is so important for victims to build your own set of resources. If you were married even for a long time, start connecting with people outside the relationship, because the ones that are in that network can become so easily triangulated. Find new support networks, join new groups outside of the abusive relationship, knowing that the narcissist will always keep you in that feeling of limbo, that waiting for them to miraculously change. I think another video I shared, 2 things that keep you in the relationship are hope and, is it faith? Oh, hope and something. You hope that they're going to change. They're keeping you in this limbo, hoping that they're going to stop withholding from you, because in the first couple months they were amazing in this love bombing phase, and you hope that you can go back to that with them. It's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever. The only way that you can get freedom is to get out of this relationship and work on healing from yourself and give yourself all the things that have been withheld from you in this intimate relationship. All of it. So, I hope that this has helped you understand withholding and how powerful and damaging it is, especially to every part of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So, no longer withhold these things from yourself. Give them to yourself. That's where the change is. So thank you all for tuning in, liking, loving, commenting, and sharing. And if you're ready to start giving and no longer withhold, please reach out and connect with me. Send me a message or click on the banner and schedule time to chat. Thanks, guys.